Right. So I do welcome you one more time to the conversation that we do have today. So please feel comfortable, enjoy the session, ask your questions when the fullness of time does come, and take note of the things that you'd want to really ask about. That is the most important thing that you have to do. I have already said that I am very delighted to have you in this conversation. As usual, I always do recognize the presence of the chief executive officers that are in here. We always have them. We have the directors and managers who are sent from different institutions of learning. Always, we do have the professors in our midst, the researchers, and the lecturers from different institutions of learning. Please, I recognize your presence. We have students from various universities, both from within the country and outside the country. They are with us, and it's a good thing. And I do have the colleagues and friends also recognized in this conversation. Please, you are very much welcome and enjoy the session. So yesterday we had time to look at the science of analysis in finance. The focus of the conversation yesterday was just to train you how the process of analysis is done. Basically, how do you choose the company to invest in, right? You have decided to embark on this journey of buying shares in companies. Now you want to choose the company that you want to buy shares in. You're not sure. So now there are some of the things that you need to consider as you are thinking of buying shares. And basically those things are the ones that we were trying to show you yesterday, that it is all that set of those issues need to be considered. Yeah, you may not really be conversant with some of the terms or some of the ratios that we were using yesterday, but that does not stop you to participate in the market, right? You can engage a consultant, and that is what we said yesterday. So without wasting much of our time, I want to introduce today's conversation. The conversation for today aims at, number one, showing us the importance of finance, basically why we should have the knowledge in finance. We will touch a little bit about budgeting and the control, just a bit of it, because that's very necessary in this training. You need that. We'll show you, after looking at budgeting and how you do savings technically, then we are going to move on now to bring out investments in details. We'll zero in and focus on investments in the stock market. We shall have time to show you what's a share again, how do you gain or how do you make profits when you are dealing with the shares. And actually, I will have time to outline the whole process if you wanted to become a shareholder today, what you need to do. So basically, I will have time to show you exactly what you need to do for you to become a shareholder today, should you decide to hold shares in a company. And I will explain what that means, okay? That's the outline of the conversation for today. Let me just confirm one more time. You are able to hear me and can see the screen. You're good. How is the sound system and everything from here?
So far, so good.
Right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Now, just as I said yesterday, I made mention in the previous conversation. If you didn't follow it, please follow up with the conversation. It's recorded, it's there, available. Please, you need to take it very serious. Actually, it's the most important to say so. Now, finance, the knowledge in finance is very critical. Actually, it is supposed to be compulsory. People have actually recommended that universities and institutions of learning have to make sure that people at least they have a bit of some knowledge in finance. But I should be quick to underscore that in the new era that we are living in, this world that we are living in, the 21st century, the knowledge in finance becomes very critical. You need it, actually. So I was trying to make sure that as you decide to get some skills somewhere, please do not neglect getting skills in finance. It's very necessary you need that skill. You need to get the skills on how do you work with machines. That is machine learning and artificial intelligence, right? Artificial intelligence and machine learning, those skills are very key, very fundamental. You need them. But among them, I am emphasizing and I'm uplifting finance. You need finance, please, everywhere you go. How does it start now? Listen carefully. You may be making money using different ways that you are using to make money. Other people could be employed. You will have a salary. Some people could be there doing some very small scale businesses. Others could be there hustling. Others call them hustling, right? And you may be there to earn, and you are earning in whichever way that you do earn. But if you don't really have the knowledge of financial management, it becomes very difficult for you to navigate and thrive, of course, in this world, the sphere of investments and finances specifically. That's what I'm talking about. So what I want to do, I want to introduce you to budgeting, right? The technical way of budgeting is what you need to get today. I'll talk about budgeting. I'll also talk about savings. So right now, let's zero in. We want to pick budgeting. I am now going to start sharing my screen. Okay. Confirm you are able to see the screen.
Yes.
Budgeting. Right. What about budgeting? Many people think budgeting is just about getting money and writing down the things that you want to buy. Budgeting, colleagues, does not just involve you listing down. Yeah, in a nutshell, budgeting does not involve you just listing down what you want to buy and the prices that you want to spend and the amounts that you want to spend. That is called a shopping list. It's just a shopping list. If you can write, I'm going to buy this at 5 kwacha. I'm also going to buy salt at this amount. I'm buying this. That is a shopping list. That is not a budget, right? So what is a budget then, if that is not a budget? A budget is actually an estimate, okay? It's an estimate of both sources of income and corresponding expenditure, right? Simple. We want to simplify things. We don't want to complicate everything here. We want to make things simple. We are saying budgeting basically is an estimate, okay, of the income and the expenditure. That is the corresponding expenditure, of course, that needs to be spent within a stipulated period of time. There is an aspect of time in budgeting, right? That is an estimate. You are estimating, which means it's not really actual. And this is how we want you to pick it from the very beginning. You are just estimating. These are not actual figures. You're not sure if this is what is going to come out, but you have the range from the data you pick. Then you say, okay, we're going to spend this much on this, and we're going to buy this and that, like that. So basically, when you are estimating, that is budgeting, right? That's an example of budgeting. But what you should do, actually learn in this conversation, you should be delighted. Learn that budgeting has got processes, right? Number one, before we talk about the processes thereof, you should remember that budgeting becomes very important at stages. Nations do budgets, right? The nations do budget. Recently, last month, you received the national budget. Nations do budget. The companies do budget, right? They estimate. Actually, they do budget an annual budget, budgeting for the entire year, okay? They already know how much they're going to be spending next year. They know how much they're going to be receiving. And from there, you should understand that a normal family If nations can budget and companies, then a normal family should have what is known as a family what? A family budget, right? You should have a family budget. And as an individual, you should also have a budget. But what is very interesting about the budgeting process is that many people miss it. They just focus on money and spending it. There is a very, very crucial element of budgeting that they do miss. Before I say that crucial element, may I just get feedback? You are able to hear me and you're good up to here.
We are getting you, sir.
Thank you. This is what they miss. They miss budgeting for sources of finance. Right? Budgeting for sources. This becomes the first step if you want to come up with a very good budget. Budget for the sources of finance. In simple terms, before you think about spending that money, the first question is, where is that money coming from? That should be your focus. You have to focus on knowing where the money is going to come from, right? So at that point, this is where you sit down thinking, where really? Don't worry about spending. No, we want to buy this. No. You're missing it. First of all, we are focusing on what are the sources of income that are available. Number one, you have a salary, for example. You are employed. You write salary. I'm teaching you how to budget because this will be very important as you move on. People ask me to talk about this and it's part of this course, this training. Salary. Write how much you are getting paid. You are expecting to be receiving. Right. You're getting paid a 10,000 kwacha, for example. Again, where else are you going to get the money? What else is your source of money? You find that people are budgeting, but they don't know where the money is going to come from. But you see? Okay, I run a shop. I have a shop or business. Let's say business. We are going to receive money. How much is the money, actual money, that you are very sure is going to come from the business? Let's say you're going to receive a 50,000 kwacha from the business, right? And again, you ask yourself, you brainstorm, where else am I going to find the money? Or what other ways am I going to use to find the money? Because we can't teach you how to budget for money before teaching you where you find the money. That's very important. Okay. So you need to ascertain exactly where the money is going to come from and write exactly where the amounts, the total amounts that you're expecting from those sources. And then you have a round figure. Let's leave that stage there. Put a note there. Now, let's get back a little bit. What are some of the common ways that people use to make money? One of them, people have salaries. People provide services, right? You provide service. This is, you have a job. You're working somewhere. You're getting paid, right? The other one is people have got, you have a business, you have a shop, or you have something that is bringing money, okay? Then the other way is you have a good or a service to offer to the market. Interesting enough, somebody said, one of the scholars, and I like this one, they said, to make money, you should find a way of getting money from people's pockets without violating the laws. Did you get that one? That's very critical. Find the ways of getting the money from people's pockets without violating the laws. What that means is that you have to consider, you have to think, what ways can I get the money from the people? You should have a good or a service. You should be selling something. You should also be selling services. You should be learning skills. For example, you can learn a skill, right? When you learn some skills, those same skills, people will pay you for those skills. They are very contemporary and important skills that have come, such as, web designing, right? Skills like I've talked about web designing, content creation, among others, right? Graphicking and designing. All those are some of the examples of the skills. You can go and learn skills like data analysis and then sell the skills. People are a lot that need the services in those. Sell, make the money. So in short, to summarize here, we are saying, can you ascertain exactly where the money is coming from? Right. Now we have ascertained where the money is coming from, right? How are we going to spend the money? So, number one, this is a typical budget for the month. It has sources, right? Let's say source number one. When I write source one, this is a typical budget I'm showing you now. It's a typical budget, right? Source one. How much are you expecting? Okay. This is a typical monthly budget. Let's say for the month of September, you're going to receive, let's say, 1,000 kwacha. I just want to be very simple. Then source two, maybe write the name of the source and you're going to receive, let's say, 7,000 kwacha. Write the source. Source three, where are you going to get the money? Write the amount that you're going to receive. We're going to receive this much. When you have these sources, you're very certain about these sources. Then I'm teaching you the process of budgeting. You have to pay attention. Okay? Then we are going to ascertain now expenditure, right? This is source here. This is expenditure here, right? When you're done doing the sources, you're going to come to the part for expenditure. What really are you going to buy? What are you going to spend on? And there are some things that people don't really pay attention. For example, what are you going to buy? You write exactly what you're going to buy here. All the expenditures in this column, right? Write the amount in this other column, all of them. Now, what you need to do is to make sure that when you plan, the things you are expecting to buy, they don't go beyond how much you are earning. That is very important. Follow the process of budgeting. So when you put all that into consideration, at the end of the period, very soon I'll talk about the key things of budget. At the end of the period, that is at the end of the month, you're going to spend the money as you had planned, right? Then you will have the column for variance, which is very important. What is the variance? This is where you check the differences, okay? You check the differences between how much you had planned, you had planned to earn, check here, and the actual. Let me write. You have, for example, let me start from the sources. On the sources, you had, this is the expected amount, the source expected amount. Here you shall have the actual, right? Now, in the actual, what you write here is, it's possible you had expected to receive 1,000, then you receive 800, you receive more right here. Let's say you have received 800 due to some reasons. You had expected to receive 700, you find 500, right? You had expected 15,000, you write 10 if you receive a 10. Then you write a variance here, which are the differences. Like that is at the end of the period. You check, I had expected to receive this, I have received this. Write the amount here. The differences. If you have received more than what you had expected, if you have spent much more than, for example, we are still talking about the sources, sorry. So if you're still talking about sources, we're saying you have received much more than what you had expected to receive. Good for you. If you have received less than what you had planned to receive, that's the beginning of problems. You have to ascertain where or what went wrong. Okay, what went wrong. Let's move now forward to expenditure. When you start spending, thinking about expending, you will have also the expected expenditure, which is the planned, right? You plan to spend this much. And then here you shall have a column also for actual. You plan to spend maybe on these are items. let me say you had planned to spend on medical bills. Just you're expected to spend a 5,000, then you have spent just a 4,000. You should also write the variance here, which is the difference as well. This way of budgeting is helping you to know the differences, how you are managing the finances. Are you really spending much more than what you do always expect to do? So it is very important. This is not making you to be a slave. You're not made a slave of a budget. But what you're trying to do is that we want you to be aware of what you are spending. When you are spending here, you have to someone mute them.
Even kamba manja.
Aitu umepata. Wamesha ali nani kana adamuonesha chat hivi ni
Iwe matibati nasemana ni angana nia ya na. Mwenda pale wa next nia ya na.
Right. Let's mute our mics. Let's mute our mics, colleagues. Thank you. So now, when it comes to expenditure, there are some simple things that you don't really pay attention. Anything that takes money, even if it's one kwacha, has to appear on the items here. Simple things such as maybe talk time. People don't put money for talk time. They're just busy calling. It's about calling. You're not aware how much you're spending. Are you aware that if you're not careful, when you consolidate the money that you just spend on talk time at the end of the month, it may be a lot of money. We are not saying stop spending. We are telling you to be aware. You should be aware that, okay, this month, knowing the normal conversations, we budget to spend, for example, 300 kwacha on just on talk time, talking. And you can't deviate from that, whether you like it or not, you spend on talk time. So it's better you just recognize that as an expenditure, you write it. Then at the end of the period, you should be aware approximately how much you have spent on that. Internet bundles. Many people don't put, amounts for bundles, but they are always online. And they're using money. Those things are very important to be budgeted for. So everything that you budget for, everything has to appear here. Exactly how much you're expecting to spend and the actuals. The rule is don't spend much more than what you do at it, you earn. As we want to leave this stage, we want to talk about now a little bit about saving, right? Now a bit about saving. It's important, colleagues, that we should be muting our mics, right? When you're in the meeting. Okay. Let me quickly bring you to savings. There are many things that you should be saving for that people don't really pay attention. We are not saying, can you save everything that you earn? No. You can put a small percentage that is there. For example, 20% shall be saved. Now, the things that you should be saving for usually could include, number one, save for emergencies, right? You have to save for emergencies. You find that a person, a whole grown-up person, doesn't have money for emergencies. There is nothing, totally nothing. They're just living. When something just comes, a catastrophe or something, then they are gone, dead. You need to develop a tendency of saving something for emergencies, saving some amounts for emergencies. And actually, the recommendation for finance and research has shown that you need to save at least 6 months of your own daily expense or own monthly expenditure. That is to say, for example, if on a monthly basis you spend about 10,000 on your daily expenditures and make sure that you are safe within 10,000 in a month, normal life, then that should mean you should ensure that your savings for emergencies, they are equal to 10,000 times approximate 6 months. That is 60,000. You should not have less than that. That's the meaning. That's the lesson from here. You need this lesson. Someone is asking, how is that related to buying shares? This is very important. You need it. Yeah, you will see how you need it as we are coming very soon. From there, you need that money for emergencies. Always save for emergencies. Now, we are not saying, can you save everything that you earn? No. I've already said put a certain percentage, let's say maybe 20% of everything that you earn. So 20%, for example, you just earn 100 kwacha, which means you'll be saving 20 kwacha every time you earn that. That's the meaning. But you have to be consistent with that. You have to save for investments. This is where now we are coming. Very important. Save for investments. Most of the investments that you do are very huge. You cannot usually save for, you cannot just usually start them using very small amounts of money. So you need to develop a habit of putting money together, consolidating the money together. Then when the money is powered up, a certain amount is made, then you do that investment. All right, colleagues, I know the conversation about budgeting and control savings is a very long conversation. I am asking Amazing Excellence, or let's try to ask them that one of the fine days, they should just give us a normal lesson specifically for budgeting and control. So that we don't waste so much time on this, I am skipping this one. Now, we are leaving this part. Let's cross over. Let us now cross over. You need to save for investments. For example, when you think about now buying shares, investing in shares, it doesn't mean all the money that you earn, you have to buy shares. No. You have to get some of the money that you earn and be consistent in buying what? In buying shares. And you need to be just be deliberate to wage a very serious war against poverty, right? Wage a war. Write this as your, let's say, your theme or something, or your motto. To wage a serious war against poverty, a serious war against the diseases, a serious war against ignorance. These are dangerous enemies, actually more than slavery. So ensure that you wage a serious war against this. You fight against this in whatever ways. To fight against poverty simply means working hard, ensuring that you're financially free. You need financial freedom. Diseases simply means ensure that your health is just okay. Do the right things to make sure that your health is not compromised. To fight against ignorance, the antidote is learning knowledge. Keep on acquiring knowledge. Before we zero in now to talk about the shares that you want, company shares. Let me get a feedback from someone. You are able to hear me, you can see the screen. Can you just confirm you can hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, sir.
Loud and clear, sir.
Okay, thank you. I have left the conversation on budgeting and control. That's what I wanted you to get in a nutshell. Yeah, it's a longer conversation. We'll ask Amazing Excellence to give us a platform one day where they will help us to learn this. Then we can hold that conversation. Now let's zero in. What is a share? One more time. What is a share? Those that want to do the investments now. We say that a share simply means buying part of a company, right? Someone is saying, how do you buy part of a company? Listen carefully. When a company is registered, all right, I am back. I am here, I am back, that we may continue the conversation. When you do the registration of a company, now I want you to follow nicely. For example, you inject a capital, let's say you inject a capital of 100,000. Quickly, you inject a capital of 100,000. The registrar of companies at PACRA, they will ask you if you're registering a public limited, a limited company. How much are the shares of this company? Meaning, we are going to break down this capital into small units. Follow nicely. I want you to know what a share is. Small units. We'll say, okay, let's divide this by, say, 10 kwacha, for example. So you say 1 share is what? 10 kwacha. That's the value of a unit. That small unit is what we call a share. So you want to know how many shares are in this company. You say 10, which is the price per share, into this 100,000. That should give you 10 what? 10,000 shares, which simply means that this company now has its capital structure broken down into small units that you call shares. There are shares in this company. There are how many? There are 10,000. Okay, so that when you just multiply the number of shares times the share the price of a share, which is 10,000 times 10 again, it goes back to 100,000, which is the capital, the total capital of that company, which was raised from the shareholders, from the people who invested into this company to become part of the owners. We are not talking about the part of the money that you raised from. We are not talking about the part of the money that you raised from Mr. Clement. You should always remember to mute your mic, sir. Thank you. Let's go ahead. So we are saying that we are not talking about the part of the capital which is raised from debt. Maybe you get a loan or what, a bank loan. This is not what you're talking about. We are talking about the part of the capital that you raise from the people who want to become part of the owners of this company. So that capital is this capital that I'm referring to here. And this capital will be broken down into small prices. Very soon I will go to the website. I'll show you the share prices, what that means. So this is what we mean by the number of shares. So when you are a shareholder, it simply means you have some shares in this company. Let's say this company has got how many shares? 10,000, right? Then you buy how many shares of this? Let's say you just buy 10, you buy 5,000, right? You want to know the percentage of this company that you own. It's basically the number of shares you have divided by what? The 10,000 shares, which are total number of shares in the company, times 100. And this will give you, for example, 50%. It simply means you own 50% of that particular. Okay. That's what that means. But we don't work with percentages here. We don't work with percentages here, right? Yeah. We don't work with percentages here. We work with the number of shares. So you can easily do the computation if you want to know how many, in terms of percentages, how many percent you have in a particular company on. That's very important. So that's what that means. To be a shareholder simply means you own shares in a company. You bought some shares in a company. You invested in a particular company. Now, how do the shareholders gain? This is very important. Okay. How do the shareholders gain, right? When let's go quickly to the website. I want you to see these things practically. I don't want you to memorize things. Let's cross over now. We go to the website. I'm sharing the screen. Can we go to the website? Move to the website. Just turn on your screen. Let's go to the Luce website for a start. You go on Google, you type luce.com. LU, that is Lusaka Securities Exchange. Please watch the first video, the very first video. It has got all these things again. So yeah, we already talked about some of the things. I'm just reminding you quickly. For example now, let's scroll down. Can you scroll down there? Scroll down again, go where it says trading, on that column for trading, then there's a part for market data. Market data. If you press on market data, I want you to see something that comes. Scroll down. Scroll down. If you scroll down, you will see different companies that are there on the Securities Exchange for Zambia, for example, Lusaka. We told you last time that the Securities Exchange is basically just the market where you people who want to buy shares meet with those people with those companies that are selling shares. You don't meet there physically. There's an online platform. You can do that even online. But if you're skeptical about doing things online, you can visit a broker physically, but it's an automated system. You deal with computers. You don't deal with your hands. You understand? So these are the companies, the part of the examples of the companies where you can buy shares right now. Yeah, this data that I'm using is for Friday. The market does not work on weekends and on holidays, the Lusaka securities market. So check on closing prices quickly. Have you seen, for example, the second company, this one, ATEL, that's Airtel. If you want to buy shares in Airtel today, one share is 43 kwacha 50 ngwe. I've already explained how these prices they are determined. So one share, just one share. Okay, one share before we talk about gaining. Then you can move down below Airtel, there is Butter, right? Let me just confirm can you see the screen? I may just be talking and you are not even able to see the screens. Anyone to confirm you can see the screen quickly?
Yes, sir. You can see the screen.
Yeah. Companies like Butter, right? Butter, it's as cheap as 5 kwacha 50 ngwe, one share. Which simply means if you spend your 1,000, how many shares can you buy? You can buy a lot of shares, right? Just in 1,000. You become a shareholder in Butter. Okay. If you want to become a shareholder, let's move down quickly to Chilanga. Chilanga is 21 kwacha. You've seen 21 kwacha, one share. These things are not even as complicated as you think they are. They are not. Can you move down to Puma? You want to invest in energy. Puma is 5 kwacha 75 ngwe, one share. Standard Chartered Bank is there as well, 3 kwacha 59 ngwe. ShopRite, 197. Where there is shop there, that's ShopRite. Go down, the third last is Zanaco. You want to become a shareholder in Zanaco. That Zanaco Bank you're saying. It's just 5 kwacha 84 ngwe. That's the price of one share. So which simply means if you can make a program, let's say every month you'll be setting aside maybe, let's say 1,000 to invest in share, to buy shares, you can manage it. Because I mean, you can be buying shares 1,000, 1,000, 1,000 every month. For example, someone can set aside, okay, I'll be using maybe 500 kwacha to buy shares every month. Those that can manage, they can be setting aside a 10,000, 100,000 every month to buy shares, 100,000 to buy shares in the companies that they have decided to choose. I want you to follow nicely today. It's a very crucial conversation. Now it is becoming very crucial. You need to pay attention. Okay? Just that amount. The ZSUG, that's Zambia Sugar. So if you want to become a shareholder in Zambia Sugar, it's just 35 kwacha, one share. 35 kwacha. So you can put it on a program. This is why I'm telling you, you have to learn how to budget. From the knowledge we have taught you in budgeting, you can be saying every month, I can be spending, let's say, 1,000. Don't stress. Just do it simple, at easy. Every month, let's say I'll be spending maybe, let's say, 20,000 on share. You're just consistent without stressing. This is how this can be done. You can buy these shares. There are companies that are as cheap as what? Which companies? 1 kwacha 18. Okay, these are just the ticker symbols, by the way. If you want to know the actual name of the company, you go to Market Screener. I told you yesterday how to go to Market Screener. You can go to Market Screener and plug into the ticker symbol, these symbols here, you see, the full name of the company, come and everything, including the sector in which this company trades. Okay. Now, I will explain about the gaining very soon. I'm explaining very soon about the gaining. The one who has their mic, they could mute their mic. Okay, let's go ahead. How do you gain? Before we talk about the gaining, let me just confirm you can hear me and you can see the screen. How do you make profits or loss?
I'm able to see the screen and I'm able to get you, sir.
Thank you very much. About how do you make losses or how do you gain? Have you seen these share prices here, closing share prices? These closing share prices, they do change. They are never the same throughout because they represent the value of a company to some degree. Okay, so the company's value keeps on increasing as the company keeps on expanding and growing, investing in itself, right? So if, for example, you bought the shares, I want to explain one way of earning, of gaining. Let's say you buy the shares for Puma, right? You know Puma. Puma is at how much is this? How much is the price for Puma? Anybody who can see it?
5.75.
Yes, 5.75 in way. You bought these shares at this much. One. Then these shares have grown. Maybe let's say after 3 months, they have grown. For example, you may find that the share price goes up to say maybe 10 kwacha or something per share. I want you to pick the idea. When you want to sell these shares, you will not sell them at 5 kwacha, the price where you bought them. No. They are sold at that price, which is the market price. This market is determined by the market. These prices you're seeing here, they're determined by the market. All right. So it becomes very important for you to notice that. So when you sell at 10 kwacha, which means you have the profit, there will be gain, right? That kind of gain, where you gain from selling of the shares because the shares have increased in prices, they have increased in value, is what we call capital gain. Did you get that one? That is called the capital gain. It's one way of earning. In this is more like, it's an investment, I've already told you. Then the other way of earning, pay much attention. These companies do make profits. So at the end of the period, they can decide to say, no, actually, there is this profit that has been made. And part of this profit, we have to give to the owners of this company, the shareholders. How are they going to give you? Because you own different shares in the company. They will attach a price to a share. They will say, okay, let's say we'll be giving people 5 kwacha per share, right? That's a way of sharing this profit because you own different shares, you can't share equally. So they'll say, okay, for example, these are just examples I'm using. 5 kwacha per share, or maybe 10 kwacha per share, for example. So that would mean the amount that you should receive, you as a shareholder, is the number of shares that you have times 5 kwacha per share, which is a dividend. So that amount that you receive, it is not called profit. It is called dividends. Did you get that one? That is called what? Dividends. That's the meaning. So you receive dividends from these companies. Companies do differ. Other companies give dividends per semester, right? After they have consolidated all the statements and summarized them, they give dividends. That does not affect how much you invested in the company, by the way. It's just more like the part of the profit that you get from the company. Actually, it is. Others pay annually. So companies do pay dividends. And when you do receive the dividends, that is part of gaining. So the major ways, I'm not sugarcoating anything, the major ways of earning in here is through, number one, capital gain, where the share prices have increased, and then you decide to sell the shares again, or waiting for the dividends. Those two ways, those are the common ways, those are only ways of earning using the stock market, basically. That's that. So you have a length of that. Before I continue, can I just pick feedback from anybody? Are you able to hear me? Anyone who can hear me, you can see the screen. This is the website of Osaka Securities Exchange. Thank you. Now let's proceed. Someone is asking, is saying, okay, sir, now me, what if I bought shares today and I change my mind? I'm no longer interested. The answer is don't worry, okay? Do not worry, do not panic. Why shouldn't you worry? This is because you can sell the shares. And when you are selling the shares, by the way, you don't have to go and announce, please, I have shares in Zanaco, anyone who wants to buy. It's not your duty. There is a market, the Lusaka Securities Exchange. It's a click button. It's about clicking the button. Just click the button to command for a sale. You just command it, click a button, sell. Then they will ask you to specify the number of shares that you are selling, you want to sell. And in which specific company. You sell only the shares that you have. Don't sell the number of shares more than what you have, because when you have the number of shares in a company, on your account, the account that I'm talking about, the CSD account that you are going to open very soon, will show you how, will help you to do that. All the companies where you have shares, they will appear there. So you can choose, okay, I'm selling shares, for example, for this company. Let's say you have shares in Saraka. Let's say you have 10,000 shares, then you want 1,000 shares. You can just write on quantity there, write 1,000 shares. And the price is already there. You don't have to say, okay, me, I'll sell it at this much. It's not you deciding the price. The price is already there, determined by the market. And then you command it, put the button, click, it sells. When it is time to sell, then the Lusa people, the Lusaka Securities Exchange and the team, they will sell those shares on your behalf. Your duty is just to sit and wait for your money to come into your bank account. They don't use the Airtel money to receive money here, like dividends, or maybe receive the money when you sell the shares. No, you need the bank account, a serious bank account. The money will hit your account usually within 48 hours, working days, of course, I'm emphasizing, not during the holiday. If you click a command to sell on a Friday, you don't expect the following day to receive your money because it's a holiday. But if you do that with maximum of 2 working days, you receive back your money. You receive the money again, okay? So people should not be worried about what if I change my mind. You can't lose the money here. This is an advanced system. And we told you last time that this system actually is controlled by the Bank of Zambia, by Securities Exchange Commission. And again, it is under the act of, it is there in the constitution of Zambia actually. In the constitution, there is an act. So it's a well-regulated system, because you deal with computers, so there is no fraud. Like, let's say you have people are going to swindle me, people are going to steal my money. There are many people, there are many stakeholders involved, like the Bank of Zambia, like Securities Exchange Commission, like Lusaka Securities Exchange as well, and plus the brokers that are there established. So, and these stakeholders, they meet a minimum criteria for them to start trading and start helping you to do all these transactions. So it's very safe. When you talk about, if you're worried about, no, people may swindle me, you're not going to give money to a person physical, actually, no. It's a system. You just invest your money there from your bank account, or maybe you can deposit into the CSD account, deposit there, then you do the buying. And I will show you that when you are ready to do the buying on this. Yeah, that is how that is done. So please, I emphasize on that point. You can always change your mind even today, anytime you can buy shares today, then tomorrow you change your mind, you can still sell again. All right, that is the meaning. Now, how do you lose? It's possible to make a loss as well. For example, these shares, it's not just about going up. Sometimes the share prices may go down, but usually it's for a short period of time. They fluctuate, they do go down. So when they go down, if the share prices do go down, what this means is that if you are tempted, not really tempted, if you decide to sell when the price is down, that simply means that for example, you bought the shares for Airtel at 43 kwacha, then you decide to sell them when they are at 40 kwacha. Definitely you lose those 3 kwacha. You understand? Because they will sell only at the prevailing price, not at the price when you bought them. So you have to be very sensitive to the market. Realize, know when you bought the shares, what was the price? What is the price now? It's not just to sell anyhow. Actually, the principle is sell high and buy low. Did you get that one? Let me repeat that one 3 times. Sell high, buy low. Sell high, buy low. Sell when the price is very high, it has gone up, and buy when it has gone down, because the chances are there that it will increase. It can't just keep on going down, because people, technicians are working on it to make sure that the prices go upward again. That is very important. Now, someone is asking, how can you avoid now making losses and everything? When you are choosing these companies, now listen carefully. How do you select a company? In combination of the same knowledge that you got yesterday. How do you select a company? Choose a company. There are many things that you consider, including those for yesterday. But can you see the screen one more time? I want to show you something. This may be part of your analysis as you are choosing. Can you see the screen? Anybody to confirm?
Yes,
Nobody's. Okay. Can you see that after the closing price, there is a price change, then there is trades. I'm interested in the trades. The trades here is showing you the number of people who bought shares on that day. The data we are using is for Friday. This one is for Friday. Okay. So on Friday, how many people bought the shares? For example, for Airtel, if you're following nicely, how many people bought shares on Friday on Lucy?
5.
They're just 5, right? Then the number of shares they bought is how much? How many? How many shares? That's the volume of trade. 259, right? Then the amount 11,266.50 ngwe. That's the total value that Airtel received that day on Friday from the people buying shares. Now, can you move down a little bit to Copperbelt Energy Corporation Zambia, CECZ? How many people bought shares in that company just on Friday?
32.
How many?
32.
32 people, right? And the volume, how many shares were bought? 4,175. What about the value of the trade?
62,875 kwacha ngwe.
Now, we want you to pay attention to one thing that is very interesting. Can you move downward a bit? Go to Chilanga. Can you go to Chilanga? How many shares were bought? I want you to pay attention. Don't just be looking at numbers anyhow. Look at the number. Look at the number of trades. How many are there? Chilanga, just chill. There are 5 people. But look at the volume. How many shares did these 5 people buy?
10,319.
Correct, you got it. What is the total value that Chilanga Cement received on that day?
216,069, something like that.
Right. 216,699. That's the total amount they received from that. Okay, now from this, what's the message that we're picking? This can give you an idea of a company where many people are buying shares. Okay, you can know the demand. Can you scroll down? You can actually know which company is on high demand. That has got a message to you. Many people are buying shares in this company. Just one day, this is how much they bought. Then again, you should also look at the volume. Very important. Even if they just got, maybe there are 2 people, how many shares were they buying? They were buying a lot of shares. For example, for Chilanga guys, just 5 people, but they were buying a lot of shares. That should communicate a message to you. The other thing that you should be quick to underscore is that, by the way, the shares are not just bought by individuals only. Even companies buy shares in the fellow companies. For example, you will have NAPSA. NAPSA has a lot of shares, by the way, in most of those institutions, if you're not aware. Actually, NAPSA has shares in Zanaco. You never knew, right? Just like Amazing Excellence has shares in Zanaco, they do have shares in CEC. Yeah, they have shares in Airtel as well. They just have shares in many other companies. Yeah, I am aware of those few, but there are many other companies where they hold shares. So we are sending a message to you that even a company can buy shares in the fellow companies, huge amounts. So this should help you. This is not the only thing that you look at when you're buying. Of course, I already told you yesterday, when you're choosing a company, please, can you go back to yesterday's recording? It's very rich in terms of what you look at when you're choosing which company to buy. One thing that I should be quick to add about which company to add in, to invest in, is the sector of companies. You might have heard people saying diversify your portfolio, isn't it? You might have heard people telling you to diversify the portfolio. Now, when people are telling you to diversify the portfolio, what they are actually telling you is that do not put all the eggs in one basket. That simply means don't just be buying shares from only one company. Okay? You don't just buy shares from only one company. Instead, you can have maybe 3 different companies where you buy shares. Remember, these are investments. I told you last time, this is not more like a business where you expect the money today, you put in the money, tomorrow the money increases. It doesn't work like that. These are investments that should be looked at in long term. Learn to look at the investments in long term. Let's say 3-4 years from now, 5 years from now. What will be the share prices? What will be the value of this company? What will be the value of my investments? Stop looking at things from yesterday. You want overnight. Things just change overnight. And this is the right mindset I'm teaching you. When you're looking at the stock market, please think long term. If you never got that message, get it now. Think what? Think long term. You have to consider the sectors of the 3 companies that you have chosen. For example, consider there could be maybe, let's say you have Zanaco. Zanaco is a bank, right? It's in finance. How come you can buy shares in Zanaco, you buy shares in Standard Chartered Bank, you buy shares in Capena, is it in Investors Bank? You buy shares, you're just buying shares in banks. That is not encouraged. Because if there is any challenge that is affecting Zanaco, it will affect you and crush you as well in the other company. So what you do, if you're interested in banks, you can maybe choose only one company, which is a bank, where you'll be investing your money related to banks. Choose the other company, maybe that is in utilities, like ShopRite, right? If you're interested in agriculture, you could choose to invest maybe in Zambia, for example. You choose the companies. And again, when you're choosing, please don't choose too many companies. Why are you not choosing too many companies? Because you're going to be spreading your money into these companies. And what matters from the conversation that I've told you, what matters is the number of shares that you have, isn't it? It is the number of shares that you have. So if you're just having too many companies, every month you're just buying, there are 3 shares, there are 5 shares, there are 10 shares. That doesn't really make so much sense. It's better you have few companies, maybe 1 or 2, not really 1, of course, 3 companies or 2 companies where you are investing. You will see the number of shares increasing at a faster rate. Your target is to earn a lot of shares in a company, right? You want to own a lot of shares in a company. You want to own millions of shares. Let's say 1 million shares. There are people who own millions of shares in one company. And your target is to have your shares. I'm not saying your shares should just be 1 million. You can have a target of your own. But we are emphasizing that your focus is to increase the number of shares. But make sure the companies that you have chosen, they don't fall in the same sector. No. They have to be in different sectors like that. Of course, as you are choosing the company, understand the company that you want to invest in. Know what they are doing. Yeah, just understand what they are doing. When you do know what they're doing, then you should be good. Someone is asking, how do you know? Do I know what they're doing? You go, for example, on trading. Click on trading and scroll down. What do you find on trading when you scroll down? Listed companies. Have you seen that? When you click on view listed companies, I want you to, those who are saying, no, how can I know what they're doing? Scroll down a bit. These are the companies, there are many. On top, we even have ShopRite, for example. You want to know what ShopRite are doing, the ShopRite people. Can you click on view website? There's this right side, the last side says view website, right? If you click here, click there, it will take you to the website for ShopRite. Then you can read the notes about ShopRite. For example, get to understand about ShopRite, a lot about ShopRite. Know what they are doing. It's that organized system. Have you seen how it is integrated? Get to know what they're doing, their suppliers, their careers, their shareholders, investors, their groups. Learn more about them. So in short, we are emphasizing that don't invest in the company that you don't understand what they are doing. And please, when it comes to investments, you are not in a hurry. No one is hurrying you. No. Right? No one is hurrying you. For that reason, just invest when you are ready. When you are ready to make the investments, you are free to do the investments. Now, fast forward in the last few minutes. Let me just make mention of, before I can start receiving the questions, maybe mention the importance of buying of shares. I've already said some, but some of them could be, you can use the shares as a security, as a collateral. To get loans, you can say, what do you have as a collateral? I have shares. It's one of the benefits thereof. Plus, the shares provide the liquidity. That is to say, you can manage to sell the shares anytime that you want to sell them. All right. As we come now, as we draw closer to the summaries of the conversation, as we draw closer to the summaries of this very conversation, I just want to make mention of the following as you consider buying shares in companies, the basic process. The basic process. Here is the process. Hello, are you still there? Can you confirm you are able to hear me? Hello?
We're able to hear.
All right, thank you. So now
Loud and clear,
you have made up your mind you want to start buying shares. What do you really need to do? Number one, all right? Number one, have the money to invest. Just have the money and make up a program. When you make up the program and you have the money, right? You make up the program, you have the money to invest. Then please, when you're making investments, avoid rushing into the investments if you don't really understand. We are your colleagues. Can you call and find out, especially on the choice of companies and the other things? There are many other advice, the technical. You saw that analysis that I was showing you yesterday. That's very technical analysis. You need that we can help you to do that, right? As you are deciding, just get your phone number and write the number is. Whenever you are interested or whenever you are capable of buying shares, first get this number. This is the most important thing I want to remind you, because some of you may not be ready to buy shares today, but you'll be ready after 1 year, after 10 years. This is the number. Whenever you'll be ready, it's 0972 91 22 90. 0972 91 22 90. you can always contact the line. We can come to your aid, and I'll be glad to have some of you start doing this, actual doing. That's number one, because we need to help you choose a broker. And as you choose the broker, there are other issues that you need to consider. Then choose a broker who is there physically. There are many other brokers that are there on the website. We'll show you how to choose them. All right? We'll show you how to choose the 7 recommended ones, at least those that are really highly reputable. I recommend you. Then we'll have them. If you want, you can go physically to the brokers, to the broking company. And then they will help you to open an account. Listen, I'm explaining the process now. They will help you to open an account with Luce. It is called a Luce ID. Luce will not really just know you only by your name. There is an ID number that they will give you. So the Luce ID number is what you will get from the broker. You don't know where to find that broker. Still call this number. Still call the number. Still call us. We can take you where the broker is found. We can help you the whole process. Get in touch. Then you have the money. The account is opened. The Luce ID account. I'm not talking about the Luce app. I'm talking about the Luce ID number. You come to our offices. We help you doing going through the process. Or you don't come. You can contact, we go through, we can even hold this conversation online. And once you do that, then you help you have the account, the Luce ID. When you have the Luce ID account, not very expensive. These are easy things I've already explained for you. When you have the Luce ID account, then it becomes very easy for you now to start buying and selling of the shares. So you can now have the money, buy the shares and sell the shares. So now you are interested in saying, how is it going to be done? Right? Your question is that, how is this thing going to be working? That is your worry. How is it going to be working? Of course, I've already said, when you get in touch, we connect you to a broker. If you want to visit the broker, for example, physically, contact this very line again. Then we will link you up to a broker, like a broking company. You reach to the company at the premises. Those that are interested in physical things, they're saying, no, me, I want to see physically. Come physically, meet the brokers. Let's open the account, the CSD account and the Luce ID. Once that is done, then you are free now to be spending whatever amounts that you want to be buying. Okay? It's only the first time of opening these accounts and making everything in place that you pay some extra amounts. But once you have all these accounts, they will be working for years. And by the way, they are inheritable. You can inherit, you can give them to your children when you die. Okay. Your children can inherit these accounts and continue trade. All right. That's the message that we are sending. So you will keep on getting that again and again. So now, as I do wind up in this conversation, I know many people had asked about, then how do you go about this thing? This is the solution I'm giving to you. We are available for the calls anytime, or if you can visit any broker anytime. For example, on the Luce app, there are all those brokers that are available. But we need to recommend to you the brokers that are really good for you. Then you can visit them physically and then have them. If you don't want to visit physically, why not making phone calls to the number that I've given you, for example, and engage into a conversation, go through that process, even online, where in the comfort of your zone, you do the buying of shares and everything. Then there is the last part. Hello? The last part of this training. The last part of the training, which is the very, very last part. This one is very practical, and by being practical, I mean the portions that have remained from this training, you need to have an account, you yourself, and we cannot hold that conversation as a group like this. It's a one-on-one conversation. It's a one-on-one conversation, because at that time you'll be choosing a company that you are investing in. You are ready to invest. The money is there. And then at that very point, that's the point we'll be holding the last conversation or the last session, because it would mean the money is there, then and the account is ready. If you don't have the account, us ourselves will be helping you opening that account together with Luce, because we are with Luce, we are with Lusaka Securities Exchange. We will help you open that account. The account is open, the money is there, you invest there, and then when you do the investment, that's when we start teaching you again. The other part is very practical. I'm emphasizing. We can't talk about it theoretically like just what we were doing now. These were a bit of some theories, but the last part you need to be doing. I repeat, you need an account open. If it is not yet open, you should be ready to open the account. You should have the money ready. You open the account and the money to invest. Invests. Once you open the account, you invest the money, then we will also help you to do now to get the Luce application, for example, helping you, because you already have an account, it becomes very easy thereafter, to show you how you're going to be buying shares or in the comfort of your zone. Your home, you are just seated there on your chair, on the table, whatever you're doing, then you can be buying shares just by clicking the buttons. That conversation and how to make use of the Luce app in details need you have already the account and everything. So I'm emphasizing that that's the last part that has remained in this conversation. It's very practical. We cannot really talk about it in a bigger class like this, because it's one-on-one. You'll be coming to say, which company? Oh, I want to buy, for example, shares in Tanako. But here you are many. You have different companies. So we'll be sitting down together with you, run you through the process of analysis, go through the process of choosing the brokers and everything, and the process of buying. And then it also will teach you that the following conversation, when you want to do the second buying or the third buying, going on forward, what you will be doing. That can only be done practically by showing you, can you click here, press there, do that, do that. In this conversation, it's not doable. So that's that. You need that account already opened, and that can only be done when you are ready. So in conclusion, I am saying, every one of you who is willing to start doing these things, when you are ready, and by ready, you know what I mean, you have the money, you're ready, then please just do the contact. Just do the contact. Just call the number that I have already given you. And the number, I repeat, giving you the number for the last time. The number is 0972. Can you write this number and share it to everybody? Share it everywhere in the world. 72912290. There are some of you that are saying, how can I buy shares in other companies, in other, in other countries that is not Zambia? I recommend in the meantime you focus on Zambia so that you learn. That's a process. Learn. Then after you are done learning, you get at a certain level, you can cross over to other nations. And also that process is taught when you are doing practically, not when you are just hearing. So I've emphasized on that. Call on this number. The number is 0972 9122 and 90. Whenever you are ready. It can be today, it can be next year, it can be tomorrow, it can be next week. Once you are ready, call the number and everything will be done. No need of panicking. You don't even need to panic. We'll make everything simple for you. Yeah, very easy. Or if you don't want to come to us, you can still go to any other broker. I've already explained the process. Visit any broker of your choice. If you don't want to consult from here, you can consult again from the brokers. That's the process. Or you can go direct to Luce, you yourself. Go to Lusaka Securities Exchange and tell them, I want to open an account, I want to become a shareholder. They'll tell you conditions and everything. Then you start. Okay, so those are processes that's the whole process, the actual process on how you go about it. All right, as for now, let me close by ending here and just receive some few questions if at all people need. Concerning the certificates, we have already said people have been trained. You will be communicated to within the group. those people that signed up for certificates, you need certificates for this training. And the learning we have already said is very continuous, is continuing. You have many more other conversation. I just guess and pray that Amazing Excellence will keep on engaging us. If they'll keep on asking me, I'll keep on coming and hold the conversation. But they have power to ask and call anyone else to come and teach. But the good part is that everybody they will invite will just talk about these issues, finance, investments, just like that. So that's the conversation. You need to come next time now and learn how to make investments in bonds, in the treasury bills. You have to come and learn budgeting control. You have to learn how to register companies. All those things, actually these things that I'm sharing with you here. Yeah, these things that I'm sharing with you here. Okay. Can you see the screen? You're not seeing the screen. Are you able to see this other screen? These are some of the services that Amazing Excellence does offer. Things like investments in government bonds and treasury. It's one of the huge conversations. Now we have just talked about investment in stocks and markets. This is what we were talking about. There is budgeting and control we have not talked about. We have not taught you how to write business proposal and company profiles. You don't know how to do strategic plans and writing. You don't know how to register companies yet. You don't know how to create business systems and standard operating procedures. All those. This shows that you have to keep on being in that group. Don't leave the group. If you're not in the group, please invite your neighbors in that group. It becomes a bigger family. Amazing Excellence will be there to train you together with the team. In the meantime, let me end here and call and surrender to the moderator. Over to the moderator, the master of ceremonies.
Thank you very much, Mr. Arion, for that wonderful and powerful presentation. Of course, the training we have really enjoyed. Hope the group can really attest to it that we have really gained the value. We now know what really investing in or buying shares is all about and what you really need to do. One thing which I, for one, has really gotten is that you need to buy low and sell high. That's one concept which I've really gotten to this, that for you to be able to make profit, you need to buy low and sell high, and then you have the difference that will be your profit. It's time for questions. I would like to pick up some few questions, but of course, since you have a little bit of time, I'll allow some people to, those that feel they can respond to some questions, to just raise up your hand and be able to give the answer. But in an event where you have an answer to a certain